Not good, man. Not good at all. Nothing good from this game, actually, except for the one guy who's been good all season, Tyler Herro. That's about it. I know the numbers for Bam Adebayo don't look terrible, but he did not have a good game. This Heat team they're in some trouble now. I was really hopeful after the last game. Yeah, you had a game winner versus Tyler Herro. Obviously, the vibes were immaculate, and you were hoping some kind of great comeback like that, like they had that game and a phenomenal shot by Tyler Herro. You were hoping that can jumpstart the team, at least until Jimmy returns. That wasn't the case. I feel like the effort in today's game was terrible. You gave up way too many points to the Hawks. Essentially, every bucket they had was super, super easy. And because of that, the Heat lose this game by 10 points, 120 to 110. Not to take away any credit from the Atlanta Hawks because they got a roster of a lot of nice young players. And Trey Young is an offensive maestro. I said it many times during the offseason. I want that guy on my team because this Heat team's offense has sucked for years. And every team Trey Young has been a part of has been one of the top 10 offenses in the league, essentially, for his whole career. Now, some people agreed with me. A lot of people didn't. But if you were one of those people that disagreed with me and you watched this game and you watched Trey Young just pick apart the Heat defense play after play, let me ask you again, would you not want Trey Young on the Heat anymore? Because I certainly don't think you could say no anymore. Because even as this game got close in the fourth quarter and the Heat were down as much as 9, I believe, in that third quarter. Actually, to start the fourth, they were down 9. But the Heat offense was struggling to get looks. Now, again, nothing new. There's something we've been seeing for years now, the late game execution. But we're settling for Nikola Jovic fadeaways in the corner. And then you come down the other end and Trey Young is lobbing to Larry Nance. They're finding Jalen Johnson wide open in the corner. Bad performance, seriously, from everyone on the Heat outside of Tyler Herro. I guess Duncan Robinson had his moments too. And as I look at the box score, I'll give Haywood Highsmith credit. I really liked what he brought defensively, as always. And the offense was there today for him. But we'll kind of get into this game a little bit, just give you a quick rundown. So the Heat were down 3 points and at the halftime. I felt like Bam Adebayo came out aggressive early, had 8 shots in the first quarter, and in the first half, and I'm thinking, okay, good, keep this up. It did not. I mean, Bam finished the game with 17 shots, so he had 9 in the second half. But a lot of those was almost when the game was too late, like in the fourth quarter. Now, I don't want to say too late because, of course, it was a close game. But in the third quarter, they needed him. They needed to get some kind of breakthrough because they went on these offensive droughts. And just Ben was nowhere to be found. You can't really look at the numbers for this sort of thing because, okay, 17 shots is decent. In the fourth quarter, he did step it up a bit as well. Had a great driving dunk to get inside. Had some aggressive plays, so I want to give him credit there. But if you were watching the game, there was times where you needed more from him. You felt like he had opportunities in the paint, and instead of going up strong, he would kick it out, Like I said, he had that strong dunk in the fourth quarter, had one in the first quarter where he got a great rebound, went up strong, tried to dunk it, which I love because when you be aggressive, good things can happen. He got smacked across the arm, but still went up strong enough to be able to lay it in, and it was an and one, off the foul from Jalen Johnson. So I want to see more plays like that from Bam because there was times he had the ball in the paint at the dotted line, and he's not looking at the rim. So I know the numbers won't exactly say it, but Bam needed to do a lot more offensively. There's been a big discourse on Twitter over the last couple of days of whether the Heat should trade Bam. A lot of people think you should. A lot of people think you shouldn't. I'm not going to sit here and say that you should trade Bam because I don't think so. But really, up until this season, I was a firm believer in not trading Bam for essentially anybody. I said that there's a short list of guys I would trade Bam for. It's like Luka, Anthony Edwards, and Wemby. That was essentially it. Maybe Giannis and Joker, right? A couple, like no more than 5 guys, right? But going into this season, I can't say that no more because one of the differences is outside of Bam, regressing a little bit this year is the money. He's now getting paid like a superstar. Obviously, his extension doesn't technically kick in this year. I think it starts either next year or the year after that. But he's signed to that deal, which is $60 million. And you can't pay that much money to someone who is so inconsistent on the offensive end. You can't do it. I know defensively he'll always be one of the best, and I have to keep saying that point because a lot of people do forget to mention the impact that Bam has defensively. But he hasn't been the same this year either on the defensive end. He's not as consistent on that end of the ball either, because we're seeing him get torched by guys like Jakob Poeltl and Goga Bitadze. And of course, I have to always say, whenever I mention that, it's not always Bam's fault. He helps so much on perimeter players because he's asked to do so much. And when he does help on the outside and he's trying to guard somebody who's cooking like a Jalen Suggs, like a Jalen Johnson today, that means that the other team's center has a mismatch on us. Because now your Goga Bitadzes and your Clint Capellas are now being guarded by Duncan Robinson. They're being guarded by Haywood Highsmith. And that's, of course, part of the reason that these opposing bigs are cooking the heat. So it's not all Bam's fault. But if you're watching these games, you know, and if you're not watching, I'm here to tell you, Bam's not the same defensive player that we're used to seeing. And offensively, he's taken just a major step backwards, just a major step. The efficiency has not been there, and the mentality is just soft. And I don't think that's debatable at this point. I think that's facts. When you're 6'9" and you're playing these guys that you're playing against that you should be dominating, these guys like a Goga Bitadze, we said it all year, all these slow centers, the Sabonises, the Jokic's. You have to cook those guys, Bam. And he's not even looking at the rim. And it's frustrating. I know Bam finished today with 17 points and 10 boards, 8 of 17. So the numbers, of course, aren't terrible. But I'm here to tell you it's not enough, especially when you're missing Jimmy Butler. So all that to say, for a guy that's going to be getting paid close to $60 million a year, I'm more so open to trading him than I was before. And part of the reason is because I still believe Bam has incredible trade value. So I'm not saying trading for peanuts. No, of course not. But I'm just more open to moving him if it means you can get somebody to help you win in the next year or two with Jimmy. That's all I'm saying. Because that Bam contract, I'm telling you now, is going to look bad in a couple years. And you're going to feel that as Heat fans if he doesn't take a jump in the offensive production. But anyways, and also I was going to say his hands today were terrible. His hands recently. I tweeted out, when did Bam's hands get so bad? Everyone was telling me they've been bad. They have not been this bad. The Heat are deflecting passes. They're going into Bam's hands. He can't hold on to it. It's going back to the other team. He's trying to get these rebounds. It's popping out of his hand. They're trying to give it to him on the roll. It's popping out of his hands again. He's got these butterfingers. It's frustrating. I feel like there was 7 or so possessions that the Heat lost out on just because the ball was in his hands and he couldn't get it. And then the bench unit today wasn't much better either. When Ware and Jovic came in, they weren't great at all. People were a little too hard on Ware, though. I think he did get dunked on by Garrison Matthews. And, of course, us Heat fans hate him, me specifically being an FGCU fan, because once upon a time, 7-8 years ago, Garrison Matthews, when he played for Lipscomb University, absolutely torched FGCU in the conference championship game. I think he dropped like 40. So I have a very bad history with him. But anyways, I do feel like there was some other possessions where Ware really deterred the Hawks. There was a play where Ware kind of helped on the drive, I think, by Trey Young. And then Trey went to go for the lob, and Ware kind of backed up a little bit, made it a very difficult lob pass. I think the pass was tipped out of bounds or something. So he did make some plays as far as rim deterrence, and I like it from Ware because I see the potential. Because obviously that's something that the Heat need, is a rim deterrent. Guys that can affect the opposing team's shots in the paint, and Ware had a few of that today, so it does, give me a little bit more optimism regarding his future with the team, although there was some ugly plays too. But Jovic was straight up terrible, especially in those first half minutes. But finally, one thing that helped the Heat stay in this game was Duncan Robinson. He got going in the first half, hit 3 threes, and had some really good playmaking as well. But we'll fast forward to the fourth quarter where the Heat were down 9. I was very mad at the end of the third. There's 2.2 seconds left on the clock. Terry inbounds to Bam, and Bam does the thing where, he pretends to get a shot off. Can't get it off in time. Shoot the damn ball, Bam. You got a little over 2 seconds. That is more than enough time to get off a half-court heave. But no, he's too busy caring about his percentages. He's guilty of doing that a lot, and Terry Rozier is guilty of doing that a lot. And it's one of the most frustrating things in basketball to me, is those guys that care about their percentages instead of just shooting the shot. And I'm here to tell you that Bam's three-point percentage and Terry Rozier's three-point percentage is ass anyways. So what, you going to make your terrible percentage even worse by taking a half-court shot? I don't care. It's already bad. Shoot the shot. Hate that. The Heat had, again, struggled playing defense in the fourth quarter, couldn't rebound. There's one possession that the Hawks got back-to-back rebounds, went right back to a wide-open Krejci for three. Luckily, he missed both of them because the Heat literally made zero effort to go out there and guard him on those. But eventually, the Hawks got another board. I think they did score in that possession. The Heat were missing a lot of open looks, so that's why they never really were able to go on a run and make the Hawks call timeouts. And Terry Rozier, he should never play again. I'm so sick of him. Even John Crotty noted this, and he's one of the most optimistic people there is. So for him to say something, you know it's bad. But the Terry Rozier IQ and shot selection is disgusting. It's vomit-inducing. He's out there taking these sidestep, fadeaway threes. It's the worst shot in basketball. You know how many times I've counted that the ball's inbounded to Terry Rozier, and he ends up taking a shot without anyone else touching the ball? That is bench worthy. That really is. That is quite literally the exact opposite of how you're supposed to play basketball. Terry had 1-3 today. It was off a catch and shoot. Beautiful shots. Why can't we get more of that? Now, he did brick 2 wide open catch and shoot threes later too, which is why I'm going to say he should just sit entirely because he sucks. Although last game he did hit some big shots, but the good games are too few and far between. So for any Terry Rozier, lover that's going to comment, oh, we wouldn't have won this game without him or this game, I don't care. Yes, he has a couple of good games, but they're too few and far between. He is an overall negative out there, and he should not be playing. Even had a play where he got stripped by Clint Capella. And Eric Reed is out there saying, oh, you don't see that often. Well, when Terry Rozier is out there, you see a lot of dumb stuff, so I'm not surprised anymore. The fourth quarter was ugly. The Heat were essentially in it up until the last few minutes, and then the Hawks just took care of business because they're a better team. That's quite frankly the truth. They're a better team, and they've been playing like a better team for a couple of weeks now. Why Nikola Jovic was out there still, I don't know. Showed no effort on the defensive end. Couldn't hit a shot. I thought he was awful today. We'll go through the box score today. Jaime Jaquez followed a really good game versus the Magic with an awful one. He shot 4-12. He stinks. Hayward Highsmith, pretty good today. 14.6 boards, shot 6-8. We've talked about Bam Adebayo and his 17-10. Not enough from Bam. That's the truth of the matter. Duncan. Oh, look at this. Duncan, 16, 5, and 5. I told y'all Duncan's doing other things out there. And even though he has struggled shooting the ball of late, I always said you don't notice as much as you used to with him because he does other things. He has turned into a pretty good playmaker, and obviously has some chemistry with these guys like Bam. And there was another play, I think the Highsmith, where he just did a beautiful bounce past the Highsmith going back door too. So it's not just Bam and Duncan connection anymore. Duncan's really been a pretty integral part of the offense, and when he's hitting shots like he did tonight, is a very, very positive impact player. Was actually the only player on the entire team with a plus. He was plus 10. Everyone else was a minus, outside of Pelle Larsson, who only played 4 minutes, so I don't count him. But Tyler Herro, I got to give you your flowers once again. Like I've said this every video for the last week since All-Star voting has opened. Go vote for Tyler Herro to be an All-Star. Because not only has he been an All-Star this season, he's not only has he been the Heat's best player, he's been the most consistent player. He's not only scoring, he's doing everything out there. Today, in addition to his 28 points, got 7 rebounds and 10 assists. Shot 53% from the field, 57% from 3. He does it all, but he can't do it all himself. And I'm hoping that he can continue this and we get some consistent Jimmy Butler play. We do know Jimmy's out tomorrow for their next game versus the Rockets, but he's expected back the following game, which is like 3 days later versus New Orleans, I believe. But I'm tired of talking about Jimmy Butler because this team has a lot of other problems outside of him, and I don't want to just keep talking about Jimmy Butler like he's the main issue here. When he was playing, the team was no good anyways. They got a bunch of other problems, and for me, 2 of the biggest ones is literally Bam. I guess mostly Bam because of the money, but Terry Rozier too because he plays too many minutes for someone who sucks that much. You got nothing from the bench today. I mean, Ware, Jovic, not much offensively. Rozier, we talked about him. He sucks. Shot 37% today. And Burks did get you 10 points, but he wasn't all that efficient either. But he's fine. He is what he is. He's not looked at as a guy he's not getting paid $20 million like Terry Rozier. That's my point. And the shots that Burks did miss were pretty good catch and shoot threes. So I'll live with those at the end of the day. But really, that's all I got to say for this video. I mean, we'll do this again tomorrow versus the Houston Rockets without Jimmy. Oh, I'm not feeling good. That Rockets team is big, man. Şengün has been playing like a beast. They got like 6'10 Jabari Smith at the 4. They got just athletic freaks like a men and even Dylan Brooks on the perimeter that will really give Tyler Herro problems tomorrow. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, but I'll be here to talk about it afterwards. Of course, right now in the background, I got the Miami Hurricanes game on. They're the only team whose defense is probably worse than the Miami Heat. But hey, hopefully they can pull this out, get Cam Ward one last win with the Hurricanes before he turns into the #1 pick in the draft. Rightfully so. But make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe because all the support is greatly appreciated. I'm like 120 subs away from 6K, which is dope. I really appreciate y'all for that. So if you are not subscribed, hit that button down below. Let's go Hurricanes, and I'll see y'all tomorrow after the Heat game, and I guess after the Dolphins game too, even though 2 is doubtful. Miami sports is down bad, but what are y'all gonna do? I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.